Atlanta, Georgia. Get ready. Ace Weekend is back. Join us this Memorial Weekend, May 21st to 26th, for an unforgettable Atlanta Carnival experience. Wait, we've got some big news. Ace Weekend has now evolved into your one-stop shop Atlanta Carnival Events Hub. That's right. You can now log on to aceweekendATL.com and customize your own party experience. Over 15 amazing events to choose from. After selecting your events and customizing your package, customers will be able to collect their RFID wristband at your first event. One wristband gets you into all of your events of choice.
I come from when grown, used to carry it. Where used to carry it when it grown, used to carry it. Where used to carry it.
But don't worry, some of your favorite Ace Weekend events still remain, along with a few new additions. Small Island Jam, Thursday, May 22nd. Duckwork, Friday, May 23rd, daytime. I Am Soca, the Midnight Jam, Friday night. The Caribbean's biggest wet fest comes to Atlanta for the first time. Bacchanal Sunday, Saturday night into Sunday morning. The world-famous premium food inclusive brunch and soca makes its way to the Peach State, Sunday, May 24th. Oh, wow!
Man drink rum from the calabash.
It's Ace Weekend. Follow us on all social platforms at Ace Weekend. Purchase tickets and customize your packages at www.aceweekendatl.com.
What's up, everybody? It's yours truly, Ricovibes, and welcome to another edition of Take 5. Now, I've known this man for about 20 plus years.
For sure.
I've watched him from a tiny tot, a tiny tot to where he is now. Welcome, DJ Stevens in the building.
Man.
What's up, man?
That's my brother. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, it's been years.
Yeah, I've been following your journey.
But, since we got to sit down and
This has been meaning to happen for a minute too.
Facts.
I know. Let's go back a little bit, man. I know you're from Trinidad, of course.
Born in Trinidad, yes.
Born in Trinidad. I met you here in Atlanta.
Yes.
Again, over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Talk about your journey from then. Just a brief overview of your journey from then to now.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Trinidad and Tobago. We migrated to New York when I was about 9.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I was about 16, we moved from New York to Atlanta. I graduated high school here. Spent most of my developing years here as a young man, and then, as an adult, I migrated to LA for a few years, for 5 years, to start Hollywood Carnival there.
Right.
And I moved to Miami for a year. Then I live in St. Lucia now with my beautiful wife.
You had something to do with South Carolina Carnival as well?
Yeah, South Carolina Carnival.
Right.
I was one of the owners and founders of that. Where else, boy? Ibiza Soca Festival, Carnival Bubble.
Right. Would you say soca and DJing was in your blood from?
Absolutely. My dad and my uncle were old school DJs back in Trinidad, and that's kind of where I fell in love with what they were doing and the whole music thing.
Right.
My dad had the setup at home, so as a kid, I was breaking needles.
Wow.
Hitting them on the head with
a lot of people don't even know what a needle is.
Correct. So, it's been in me. I've been around it from a kid, so I think it was inevitable for me to end up in this thing.
Gotcha. I know you're into some production as well.
Yeah, I'm doing everything, man. Event producer, festival curator, music producer, A&R for Monk Music.
Yes. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thanks. I also own my own record label, DSM Music Group. So, lots of different angles and pretty much everything to do with this whole carnival industry. Right. I'm a part of.
What would you say were the main changes now versus back then in terms of carnival?
Well, it has evolved, and now it's getting really mainstream. I think people are outside of the culture seeking that fun, happy vibe. When you look at carnival, you look at soca music, you see happiness.
Yes.
You always see people enjoying themselves. You see ladies in costumes looking good. And carnival encourages a nice lifestyle for me too. I think that if you look at carnival, we promote happiness.
Yeah.
We promote freedom. When you put on a costume and you parade in the streets, that represents freedom. Yep. And soca music is happy music. If you could put happiness in a bottle and sell it on a shelf, everybody will buy it. And that's what carnival is.
Right.
So you see that development all over the world. You see much more celebrities.
Yeah.
Look, Sierra was in Trinidad this year.
Yes.
In a costume.
Yes. I was surprised at that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know she was into carnival.
Exactly. And she fell in love with it. She's singing the songs word for word. Wow. So it's one of those things that is infectious. People are seeing, hey, this is a good time. I want to do that.
Right.
And for me, you know, when I first started touring, it was like, yo, take this and run with it. You know, I've helped Berlin Carnival. I've helped all sorts of carnivals all over the world with just different ways. You know, whether it be resources, whether it be DJing, whether it be advice, consulting. I've helped so many carnivals develop and festivals develop all over the world.
You have.
So,
How can we market soca music more though? Because it seems like soca music is only prevalent when it comes to carnival time.
that's a trick question.
Yeah.
I don't know how we can market it anymore, but I know it's definitely synonymous with carnival. I feel like they go together. You know, when you're parading in a costume, going down the streets behind a truck, it's great that you could hear 2 reggae songs, you could sing this bossa lick scant, but that vibrant energy that soca brings, I think that's what you need.
Correct.
You know, and it's happy music. So.
And then you have the purist that says dancehall and reggae doesn't belong in carnival.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's a whole next.
That's a whole other story.
That's a whole next debate again. And you know, I stand on both sides, to be honest. You know, I'm in the middle, I would say, because I do appreciate a little breakup. I enjoy Jamaica Carnival, you know, where you see the dancehall culture being engrossed into the carnival mix. I think it's good when you see, you know, all them dancers come out and they busting a Willie Bongs and a flare. You know, it looks good. It feels good to have that switch. And then when you get back to the carnival vibes, the soca, the heavy, hardcore soca, it feels good too.
True.
So I'm good. I'm okay with the balance, right? And I think dancehall and reggae, it's much more developed and mainstream than soca.
Gotcha.
I don't see nothing wrong with integrating it.
No,
However, on the flip side, you get people that go too far. You know, you get people that now want to do reggae dancehall truck all day long. You know, and then what kind of comes with that sometimes is, you know, when you get into the hardcore dancehall, you know, it comes with violence, it comes with a certain type of attitude. You rarely get a fight in a soca party.
That is true.
That's a drunk man probably whining on your woman, and you push him, and then he drunk, so he retaliate. That's the biggest you will get in a soca party.
True.
You rarely get men falling out and shootings and all of these kind of things. Dancehall parties is a lot more aggressive. You know, I wouldn't say that they have a lot of that, but it's a lot more aggressive, you know?
True.
A fight in a dancehall party is different from a fight in a soca party.
Oh, yeah.
That falling out is something different.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. So, talk about your role at Monk Music, though.
As a senior A&R at Monk Music, you know, my responsibility is to bridge the gap with, you know, some of the visions that Marshall Montano has had in terms of expanding our music and working with young talent.
Gotcha.
You know, right now the other Caribbean islands are developing their sound so much, man, and you know, it's always subgenres of soca, but that the sound that's coming from there is unique to their culture. So you have Buyo, which, you know, you get that unique, distinct conch shell.
Correct.
And that drum and bass line. You know, you have Denry Segment from St. Lucia, which is more like an African type of, you know, bass line. You have the Bram from VI, which is bass, rhythm, and melody. You know, that's very unique to VI. Then you have Rhythm from Antigua, which is more of a drive-in rhythm. So all of these people, and you have Jab in Grenada, that, you know, which is also another a jab, sort of a conch shell horn sound, you know, with a kind of a trancey sort of bounce. You know, when you play a jab, there's this trance that you're in. You know, it's hard to explain. You got to kind of experience it. But all of these islands have been, in the past 5 years, developing their own sound. Not just their sound, the artists, the producers. They've all been lifting their quality levels, and you have great music that sounds similar to the level and quality of Trinidad that's coming out. So now my job at Monk is to really bridge the gap, work with a lot of these islands to develop our overall sound of soca some more, you know, develop some of the young talent, you know, because, you know, to have succession, you need youth. You know, where you going? You know, you can't just expand this culture and grow this genre with just Marshall Montano, Bunji Garlin, and Kess.
True.
You know, who's next? How are we developing these people? So even in Trinidad, you know, we're working with some of the young talent, their songwriters, you know, trying to get to the quality of not just, I think this plays a part as well in growing soca, right? Because if you develop the sound to where it's acceptable on a mainstream platform, you know, it sounds of the quality. When you play a hip hop song next to a soca song, you have like a balance in the sound quality. Yeah. You know, then context. You know, some of the content that we're singing about. It's not just whine, wave, jump, run. Now you're singing about feelings, emotions, and expression.
Right.
That is different. Now you're kind of putting yourself on that main stage, or the opportunity to be heard on that main stage.
Gotcha.
So, and it comes back to streams too, you know. So my job is just to kind of connect the dots.
And quietly as a skip, I heard you've been connecting the dots before you had that position.
Yeah, yes.
Because, you know, I mean, we know each other, so
Yes.
I know what you've been doing behind the scenes.
Absolutely. I've been doing what I'm doing for a long time, man. And that's one of the reasons everybody, when they saw the poster, is like, well deserved.
Right.
You know, you've been deserved that, because a lot of people know that I've been involved in the development of a lot of artists, you know, and their music and their sound for years before I even began to put my name on productions and executive producer and A&R and all of that. So I love it though, man. I love it.
And I reached out to you when you won the award at the Caribbean Music Award, you know, because again, I've watched your journey. I've been proud of you. I've told you this way before you even get to where you're at, you know,
For sure.
about your journey. What's next for you before we get into what we really here to talk about?
I'm in a phase of fine tuning everything that I've already started developing.
Gotcha.
I'm in the space right now where I want to perfect it. I want to develop it more. I want to, you know, frame everything that I'm doing. So my festivals, I want to get better at the structure, the marketing, the organization, growing the crowds, you know, diversifying some of the events so that, you know, we could get growth. My music, similarly, you know, working with more producers, learning, going to school, understanding music more. You know, I've never went to school for music, you know, so I'm now, like my son is teaching me about bass notes and clefs and these different things. Yeah, he plays the cello.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm intrigued at learning these things now so I could develop myself better, understand it more, so that when I have an opinion on something, it's not just based on feeling alone, because that's what it was at first. But now it's based on knowledge of why this sounds like that. Why does this do that? Why does it make you feel this way, you know?
Wow.
So
where does being a DJ falls into your list of, you know, duties right now?
that's my passion.
Okay.
Right?
That's your number one.
Yeah, that's what makes me feel like myself.
Gotcha.
You know, making people feel good. That's our job. You know, we play music to make you not think about your stress. When you come to an event and the DJs are playing, you are coming to an event to enjoy yourself, to release your stress, to not think about your problems.
Got it.
And my love language is giving. So I love to be able to make people feel good and do things for people. And I think in DJing, that's the feeling you get when you do something and you make people feel good and they're singing their heart out, singing to the top of their lungs, and just having a good time and seeing the joy on people's faces. That fills my cup.
Talk about Ace Weekend.
Boom.
I had to get to that.
Yeah.
You have to get into
There's a lot.
the
So
backstory. Yeah,
you could go many directions. You know, there's a lot. You know, we could be here all day. You know that.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
but Ace Weekend, Atlanta Carnival Experience was a concept I founded. This will be our 8th year. You know, COVID kind of took a year or two from us, but I wanted to do something in the city that I grew up to not just help develop the city, but develop our quality of events, develop just the brand of Atlanta, right? And I started off by doing our own events and just focusing on, all right, bringing in some of the key partners with some brands that's known around the world, like Duckwork and, you know, I Am Soca and all these things. So I started off with those brands, and now we're expanding it a bit more. And I've changed the concept of it a bit. But originally, it just started as something that I wanted to do to get some attention to Atlanta, to develop some high quality events, to bring in some big name artists. You know, we started off the first year with Marshall.
I remember.
You know, and you know we've since brought Skinny Fabulous and countless names, Private Ryan, big DJs. We've worked with Travis World. So I just wanted to kind of bring quality, big names, bigness to Atlanta, and kind of help enhance the scene here. The scene has now grown a lot.
Yeah.
And I think my direction, which is also part of my early vision of Ace, has changed with the brand. So it's now become an events hub.
Gotcha.
So instead of continuing to bring in other big name event brands and bringing in out of town promoters, I decided to change Ace to an events hub where I can now feature all of what's happening in Atlanta, give people the opportunity to choose what they want to do and customize their package.
Wow.
So Ace Weekend is now a hub. So Ace Weekend ATL, that website, when you go there, you'll see 15 plus events. And some of the events are happening simultaneously. I still have some of my events a part of it, you know, but you will see events that's happening on the competing nights. You know what I mean? And so people didn't understand it at first, but for me, it's more about the growth of the city while we all succeed, rather than just me focus on what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
Right? It's a bigger picture than just me.
How did you sell that to the other promoters? Because in Atlanta especially,
Oh boy,
it's a cutthroat thing.
Yeah, and I think it was easy. It wasn't easy, I'll tell you that. And we still have more people I would like to get on board. There's more conversations to have. And this is the first year of that new concept. So a lot of people are still skeptical. They're waiting to see how it goes.
How it works.
Get a report from some of the promoters that took a chance with me.
Got it.
I think a lot of it was based on relationship. I have relationships with a lot of people, so they trusted the fact that we have a relationship and they trust me. So, okay, this sounds a little tricky, but all right, it's you. We have a relationship for 20 years. I trust you. Let's try it. I'll support it.
Got it.
So that happened at first, but I think the big question for everybody was, you have your own events. Why would you promote mine? Because...
Especially if they're simultaneous.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, it was a lot of my database is out-of-town people. From my festivals,
Correct.
I have 20, 30,000 people database from Hollywood, Ibiza, you name it. And a lot of these people, when they come into town sometimes, they want to do 2 or 3 of my events for Ace, but they also want to experience some of the local events too.
Gotcha.
And they've said that to me before.
Gotcha.
So that's what it is. I know not every event offers the same thing. Not every event offers the same DJs. You might want to go experience a local ATL vibes, right? A lot of my events cater to a lot of out-of-town people and the brands that they know and they're used to, right? So having the option to be able to choose and still customize a package, it's like a no-brainer.
Wow.
And that's what it is, and it's working. People are buying. I've seen people customizing their packages and choosing different events, different nights. Some of mine, some that are not mine. Which when I say mine, I mean the core Ace Weekend events. And it's working. And I think it's something to be said for showing other promoters, listen, I'm willing to take a loss or a chance, right, by promoting you and your brand. And a lot of people looked at it like, this is weird, but when I told them, listen, you don't have to promote Ace, that was a seller for everybody, because they thought I was going to say, all right, well, you put the Ace Weekend logo on it, and then you're just promoting my brand.
Gotcha.
I had to do that with a lot of the guys and say, hey, listen, you don't have to advertise it. You don't have to tell people you're selling on my site. Just let me sell to my people and show you what I could do.
Got it. So this is the first year of that concept?
First year of the concept of Ace being an events hub.
Wow. Has this been tried and succeeded elsewhere other than Atlanta?
I don't know.
Okay, so
I don't know.
So it's brand new.
Yeah, this is something off of the Steven brain.
Wow.
And it's something I've been wanting to do in the past, but because I wasn't really necessarily the guy on the ground here.
Gotcha.
Since I left Atlanta, as you would know, a lot of people see me as, well, he feel he get big now, or he grew up now, he big time now. So they kind of have this subconscious resentment in their minds, but they still love me.
Gotcha.
So, for me, I had to kind of tread, always come back, always show love in certain spaces. Always when they see me and they greet me and they feel my energy, they okay, yes, this is the same Steven.
Gotcha.
Instead of them just thinking, well,
you're going Hollywood.
Exactly.
Literally Hollywood, because you did Hollywood Carnival.
Yeah, so I did, but I'm still the same Steven. So sometimes it takes me coming back home and showing them that.
Gotcha.
Doing the smaller parties and still, when I'm done with that, or if I'm in town, go to a house party where some of the people that see me grow up, they're there. And even this past Sunday in Conyers, I saw some of the people that know me from Panya days, man. That these ladies know me before I had beard.
Yeah.
And that was a good feeling, and they all came up to me. I remember every one of them by name, and greeted them with the same sort of love, and that was a really good vibe for me. And I was happy to see them come out to see me too.
Right. Right.
So that felt good.
Right. How are you branding yourself now? I mean, other than being a DJ and being a curator, how are you branding yourself?
I haven't really started branding myself as a one whole entity doing everything yet. I'm still kind of, Steven is the A&R, International Steven the DJ, Steven the restaurant owner, Steven the festival curator. But my goal is I see myself as a Caribbean mogul in the making.
Gotcha.
That's my aspiration. I want to be able to do things, do proper business, do things successfully, and create change, positive change, you know, not just do things to make money, but also do things to develop communities, develop people, help kids, you know, those are some of the visions that, you know, the philanthropy in the end, once you're successful, is always a goal for everybody. And you think, all right, what do I do next? But that's some of my vision, you know, that's a big part of what I have, you know, and I want to do it in an innovative way. I feel like my perspective is different because of my travels and my experiences, my life experiences growing up. And, you know, I use that to kind of create and mold what I'm trying to put out there.
Now, DJing has really gone to another level. You look at the Kevin Crowns, you look at the Puffies, and those guys. What do you think about DJing today?
Yeah, it's a lot more work to be on a high level, respected, appreciated, and paid. You know, and part of the reason for that is because Serato made everybody feel they could be a DJ. You have a laptop, you have Serato, you could be a DJ. Right? You have access to music, you could spend your money and become a DJ. And it made these features made it so easy for you to blend. So the art of what made a DJ in terms of blending and selection, it's now easy for you. It's getting easier and easier. But to separate yourself from that base pack of whoever feel they want to be a DJ could be a DJ, you now have to really invest in your branding, invest time into developing what your brand is. Who are you? Okay, you're international, Steven. What are you? A soca DJ, a dancehall DJ? What do you do? What makes you unique? What separates you from the next DJ next to you? You know, and I think a lot of focus is being done on that. So a lot of guys, the big guys, they're now focusing on what their skill sets are or what makes them different from everybody else. You know, you have Private Ryan, versatility. Kevin Crown, he gives you energy. You know, Puffy, he gives you skill, creativity, talent on the spot. You know, scratching, he uses a lot of those things, you know. So it's just, you know, everybody's finding the different ways, but you have
niche.
to put, you put a lot more work into what makes you different and your brand nowadays than before.
Is there such a thing as a soca DJ and a dancehall DJ anymore? Because both
the lines are blurred.
Yeah,
it's blurred, but there is, because you know you have the DJs that do specific circuits.
Gotcha.
Now you have a couple of DJs that do cross both lines and cross over on both sides, but not much. You know, not much. And you have some that could dabble on either side. Very good. You know, you have people like Puffy, who's in every world.
Puffy's incredible.
You know? Yeah, he's definitely in terms of a Caribbean DJ, he's different, man, and someone I really respect, talent-wise, work ethic-wise, branding-wise, just the way he operates. I respect it. So,
and I see he's working a lot with Vaughn as well.
Yeah, man, I have a whole album sitting down.
Are you serious?
To manage Vaughn still.
Wow.
Of their stuff they made in COVID. You know, I just hit them up. I have a brick by brick remix with TJ. I just got clearance for it. I'm like, guys, we're ready to put this out, and they're like, oh,
that's a good song.
You know, yeah, big tune.
It's a big tune.
You know, there's a lot of work that's been done that they haven't put out, but they're both busy doing their thing. And I'm like, well, these songs came under my time, so I have control. So
Gotcha.
It's just to kind of get these guys to agree to when they want to release, so everything is done with respect and everybody understands where they stand, what their shares are, and so forth.
Okay. What's the lineup for Ace Weekend?
Events-wise?
Yeah, events-wise.
Right. So our core events, our featured Ace Weekend events, we only have 6 events this year. We no longer have SSS a part of our catalog. We now have Small Island Jam, Thursday, the 22nd. Friday daytime, the 23rd, we have Duckwork, which is, you know, these are staple ones. I Am Soca Friday night, still a staple. We have a new event that we're putting Saturday night, which is Bacchanal Sunday. So Saturday night into Sunday morning. Bacchanal Sunday is the biggest wet fete in the Caribbean.
Okay.
The home is in St. Martin, but they've been expanding it, doing it in South France and different places, Amsterdam, and it's been a monster. And I tell you, the biggest wet fete in the Caribbean.
Wow.
We're talking about 10,000 people.
Okay.
Just coming to party in water and have fun.
Wow. Okay.
So we're launching it for the first time. The sales are going really good. People are really excited about it. And it's a big brand. You know, you travel to the French Caribbean, you will know about it.
Got it.
So we're doing that Saturday night. Sunday, we're bringing in Brunch and Soca.
Okay.
Brunch and Soca is a premium brunch that again, all over the world. All the carnivals, there's a Brunch and Soca. Miami, you know, New York, you name it. There's a Brunch and Soca, and it's known for food inclusive brand. So you always get your food included, and you know, top entertainment. Okay. So that's Sunday daytime, and then What's that we have? I think that's it.
That's
That's the 6. Yeah, that's the 6.
What made you decide to do away with SSS?
It's not a do away, you know. I think it's just so we've had some separations in terms of the core group of Ace Weekend.
Gotcha.
That, you know, partners that no longer work with the brand. So, you know, in that sense as well, the brand has taken a different turn. And SSS was one of the events that decided that, okay, well, if this person is no longer a part of the brand, we're going to go separate ways, which is fine, you know.
But could you still do it in other cities as well? Or is just do away with it?
Well, SSS was a brand that we partnered with the people that do it.
Got it.
So that's a company on its own.
Got it.
They came and partnered with me and did it red. You know,
Got it.
as color of my hair.
Gotcha. Right.
So it was actually a shocker to me that they decided they didn't want to work with the brand anymore that built the event in the city. But you know, people make their choices, and then again, you know, if you know, in business, this is one thing you learn too. If you don't have your things on paper legitimately, then things could go a certain type of way. So, you know, but no hard feelings. We didn't put any events in place of it or anything like that. It's still occurring. So big up to them. They do their thing. Cool. Have fun. Make your money. Do your thing. Good luck.
Gotcha.
But on this side here, we switched up our organization in a way where we're focusing on a broader scale to, you know, be very inclusive.
Got it.
So, you know, who knows? We may work again in the future. You never know.
Yeah. Don't ever burn your bridges.
We're open to working and building with anybody and staying on a positive line, positive light. So that's our attitude in our direction, regardless.
Tickets are available now, of course.
Yes, aceweekendatl.com. That's the website. You can follow us on all social platforms at Ace Weekend, ACEWEEKEND. All right. Tickets are selling. The unique thing about Ace Weekend is here, guys, as we said before, you can customize your package. So, yes, we do have our featured events, our featured 6 events. If you've been a part of Ace, you've been to Ace Weekend, you know what we do, how we do it. And these events that we've been building for years, they're doing great. But we can also now, you can also customize your package now. So you can do, on our site, we have Flag Night, you know, which is Thursday. So if you choose to not do Small Island this year, you want to do something different, you could do that. And then still choose the other featured events and customize your package.
Wow.
You know, for us, you know, the Ace Weekend team, we're confident in what we offer at our events. We know we offer quality entertainment, quality service. All our events are growing in numbers. Every year we see an increase. So we're confident in the product that we offer, but we also know that not everybody feels for that event every year. You may want to switch up, and we don't mind that. You know what I mean? Because the same way other people may be feeling to try our events this year too. So we're just continuing to grow the brand, expand, you know.
Are you planning on taking Ace Weekend, the same concept, to Miami's Carnival, New York Carnival, and so on and so forth?
I am actually.
Okay.
I am actually. You know, it's in the back of my mind. So this is kind of the litmus test.
Got it.
You know, see how it works and everything. And from what we see so far, you know, the team on the back end, people are understanding the concept. Because at first we got a lot of questions.
Of course.
We were confused.
Of course.
Why Ace Weekend promoting 2 parties same night?
Right.
And then they realized, oh, I could choose.
Got it.
You know, and what we're doing this year, which is, you know, obviously technology changes things. This year, the reason you could do that, you're not going to have a million wristbands on your hand. You have one wristband with a RFID. RFID is that little chip card. That gives you the ability to now store data. Right?
Gotcha.
So that one wristband you collected at your first event,
Right.
and you'll scan that same wristband at all your other events. Right, so you don't have to worry about showering with 10 wristbands on your hand.
Yeah, like other events.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so, you know, Carnival, where, you know, you have all these wristbands on your hand, that's not the case anymore. You have one RFID wristband, and that's where you're able to customize your package.
Okay.
So,
that's thing. When I heard the concept first, I was like, wow. It took me a minute, as most people would, to really understand it. But once I got the concept, I was like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and as I say, you know, I have so many people we market to that doesn't live in Atlanta, that looks at Atlanta and looking at the growth and the fun and the things that we're doing here. And they're like, we want to come, but those people may want to experience different types of events on different days. Right? We, in Atlanta right now, we don't necessarily have a hub that you can come and choose everything. And while it may take us a couple years to get absolutely everything under the umbrella, you know, 15 plus events in the first year is amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What else do you want folks to know?
About Ace Weekend, you know, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You know, we're offering so many different things, and you know, it's a hub, it's a one-stop shop for everything you could think of for Atlanta. So, you know, we're going to continue to add things. We're going to add the Juve bands. We're going to add the mass bands eventually, you know, and you'll be able to just come to this one place. We plan on putting out a calendar soon. So this calendar is going to have everything that we're promoting on the Ace Weekend website. And obviously every year that calendar would grow, and it's going to be promoted and marketed everywhere else outside of Atlanta. And I think that's the key. You know, the key is letting people outside of the city know what we have here, what we offer in here. You know, I feel like, you know, Atlanta's grown a lot, and, you know, I'm proud of the city.
Where do you see Atlanta's carnival in the grand scope of carnivals in the U.S.?
In the U.S., Atlanta's top 5 for me. You know, you have Miami, New York. I would even put Toronto, you know, above those, even though it's not in the U.S., but North America. But then when you think about it after that, the Miami and the New York, where you going next? So somewhere that you could say guaranteed get a lot of activities, a lot of events.
Yeah, you're
Atlanta.
Right. It's Atlanta.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We're there. Orlando too, but and they happen the same weekend. But Atlanta has more going on than Orlando.
Got it.
You know, I feel like Atlanta has more momentum. We do bigger numbers in some of the events, and more structure for sure. You know, we're at a higher level in terms of decor and some of the events that we're putting on. You know, Atlanta's definitely growing in that lane. You could go to Epic and see, you know, big decor and build out and everything like that. You know.
Yep.
So.
Sun Chiller,
come on, look at the quality of drinks inclusive events, and you know, the quality of decor and the money that's being invested into the brands. Yep. You see a difference, and it's paying off for Atlanta. So for me, you know, why not, you know, help that?
Got it. Yeah. How does folks follow you? How do they follow the brand?
Yeah, me, International Steven. The full word International spelled out, Steven, Stephen on Instagram. I don't have a website. I stopped.
That's surprising.
Yeah, I used to, but you know.
I remember you had one.
Yeah, I was considering, you know, doing back a website the other day, but I realized that when you check, people rarely go to websites now unless it's intentional.
Correct.
You know, because of social media, websites have kind of became dead unless it's to purchase or convert to something. So if you don't have a website that you're selling something and put the link on Instagram, what are they converting to?
True.
I'm not just going to send you on a website to see my bio or pictures.
And once you've seen it you've seen it.
You know what I mean? You can find all of that information still on social media. Right. You know, there's Facebook, the bios are there. Facebook is connected to Instagram. You can find everything there. You know, my Facebook is the same thing. Facebook.com/International Steven typed out. And, you know, other than that, you can Google me.
And strangely enough, his number hasn't changed in years.
Why?
It's the same number, same phone number.
Why? I'm not hiding from anybody.
No, well, you know, some people change their number once they get to a certain level.
And I answer my phone and my WhatsApp, you know.
You do.
I let people know straight, you know. For me, when it comes to communication and connecting, you know, I'm big on that. So, you know, definitely shout me if you have something you want to do, a project, an idea, something in my world, in my lane. But, you know, don't call me to talk about people, because that'll be the last time I answer you.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? I don't have time for that. I'm about growth, positivity, making money, changing the game, changing lives, helping people, doing different things that make me feel good about myself. That's what I'm about. So if you're not about making yourself feel good, elevating yourself, growth, you know, projects, productivity, don't check me.
Well said.
You know?
Well said. I just put up a post yesterday and talking something about that. So well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
That's pretty much it, you know, and I stay on that path. You know, people sometimes, because of social media, they try to figure you out. They try to box you in. Oh, we know because this is what we see. Social media is what you create. Yeah. And that's not necessarily what life is.
Absolutely.
You know, that's what we imagine it to be.
Absolutely.
So,
shout out to All Good as well. He's a part of the Ace Weekend. Wayne and Sophie.
Yeah, man. Big up Wayne and Sophie.
There's nothing private about it, so don't even shoo me. He's off camera shooing me. No.
Yeah, man.
Stevens.
Yeah, man. Thank you, my brother.
Once again, man, I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, bro.
I've watched your journey. You're doing great things, and I've watched your journey. I've been supporting you from day one.
I appreciate it.
I'm proud of that.
Working hard, bro. You know, just trying to stay on path and follow the dreams, you know. And I tell all the kids, like, yo, you could be anything you want to be, as big as you want to be. You just got to be willing to work for it and be consistent. And
congratulations to your brother as well. He's walking in your footsteps.
Yeah, Marquise is doing good. Big up Prince Marquise.
Yes, absolutely.
Some grooming to do, you know. We're working on it.
But he's young. He's young.
Yeah, the main thing is he's building a name for himself.
Absolutely.
And, you know, as much as he's my little brother, he's been definitely doing his own work and building his name for himself, not just Stephen's brother, you know.
Gotcha.
The deliberately stepped back a lot from his career to allow him to do that, make his mistakes. You know, while I'm always a phone call away to guide and support, you know, I've allowed him to grow himself and develop his own style and everything like that, and I'm proud of him too.
Yeah, I'm watching him. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel. That's youtube.com/Ricovibes, and we'll catch you next time. My special guest today, DJ International Stevens. We catch you next time.
Atlanta, Georgia. Get ready. Ace Weekend is back. Join us this Memorial Weekend, May 21st to 26th, for an unforgettable Atlanta Carnival experience. Wait, we've got some big news. Ace Weekend has now evolved into your one-stop shop Atlanta Carnival Events Hub. That's right. You can now log on to aceweekendATL.com and customize your own party experience. Over 15 amazing events to choose from. After selecting your events and customizing your package, customers will be able to collect their RFID wristband at your first event. One wristband gets you into all of your events of choice.
I come from when grown, used to carry it. Where used to carry it when it grown, used to carry it. Where used to carry it.
But don't worry, some of your favorite Ace Weekend events still remain, along with a few new additions. Small Island Jam, Thursday, May 22nd. Duckwork, Friday, May 23rd, daytime. I Am Soca, the Midnight Jam, Friday night. The Caribbean's biggest wet fest comes to Atlanta for the first time. Bacchanal Sunday, Saturday night into Sunday morning. The world-famous premium food inclusive brunch and soca makes its way to the Peach State, Sunday, May 24th. Oh, wow!
Man drink rum from the calabash.
It's Ace Weekend. Follow us on all social platforms at Ace Weekend. Purchase tickets and customize your packages at www.aceweekendatl.com.